So if you saw my last video, there is clearly strain between India and China with regard to the border disputes they have, which obviously weakens the economic alliance of BRICS. But perhaps there is strength in other areas, perhaps between BRICS nations India and Russia. Well, India has discovered a human trafficking operation that deceived young Indian men into going to Russia with job promises, only to be coerced into participating in the war with Ukraine. So I guess never mind on that Russia-India relationship, I suppose. Now, once in Russia, the Indian men are forced into the army under the threat of lengthy prison sentences. The Indian Central Bureau of Investigation reported that 35 men have been sent to Ukraine so far via Russia. Families have reported the deaths of at least 2 Indian men who ended up on the front lines, with one death confirmed by the Indian embassy in Russia. The scheme spread across much of India. It utilizes social media and local recruiters. The network also falsely offers university admissions and visa incentives to come to Russia. The CBI noted that these individuals were unwillingly trained for combat and placed in a war zone, with some sustaining serious injuries. Searches have been conducted in multiple locations, including New Delhi and Mumbai, resulting in the seizure of about $605,000, which is about 50 million rupees. These are often used for bribing police. There's also relevant documents and digital records that have been seized. Authorities have detained several Russian suspects for interrogation, as well as some Indian cooperators that have been helping the Russians. Social media has seen pleas from 7 Indian men requesting aid from the Indian government, having been tricked into service under the guise of tourist visas. The Indian Foreign Ministry acknowledges the videos and is attempting to establish contact with those affected, but Russia has yet to comment or even acknowledge they exist. Now, it is worth noting that India does still maintain its long-standing ties with Russia for now. They haven't denounced Moscow's actions in Ukraine, and they continue to advocate more for dialogue and diplomacy rather than just outright telling Russia to stop like much of the Western world. Meanwhile, India has increased purchasing of discounted Russian oil, which continues to upset many Western countries. However, this discovery of Russia posting fake jobs, fake university opportunities, fake tourism events to lure Indians to the battlefield in Ukraine is clearly straining relations. There have been protests in India at Russian embassies. Now, one thing is for sure when it comes to this so-called BRICS alliance, they cannot lose India. And it seems that China and Russia are doing things to drive India away from both of their countries, whether it's the border dispute with China or now trafficking Indians to fight in the war in Ukraine. None of this is a good look when it comes to the broader BRICS alliance, and clearly just drives India to the arms of Europe and the United States, both in the sense of the Quad, which is the agreement that the United States has formed in that region with India, as well as economically when it comes to Europe. So things like this, the authoritarian mindsets, the want for more resources and power that are coming out of China and Russia are driving India away. India is more set up to be successful in a rules-based order based on previous policies, whereas Russia and China are not. And so we now see those outcomes potentially playing out within BRICS as strained relations form between India and China, as well as India and Russia.